Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Katie. I am the Introverted Reader, and today's video we're just gonna have a wee cozy sit down chit chat about some books that I've DNF'd as of late. And I made a promise to myself at the start of this year that I was gonna DNF more. Like, if you're not enjoying a book, what is the point in carrying on? Like, if it's not sparking the joy, what's the point? Because I would always push myself to try and finish a book. I'd be like, what if it gets good? Like, what I want to say. No. If you're getting the feeling that you're just not enjoying it, get rid. So, cheers, drink some water, or go get juice or something, drink something. That was a bigger mouthful than I intended. Anyway, before I get started, just because I DNF these doesn't mean that they're not good. It is no hatred towards any authors. These and me, we just don't get along. Okay, so with that being said, that wee disclaimer out the way, let's talk about some books. So this one, Ray Bearer by Jordan Fueco. I could not even fully tell you what this is about, if I'm being real with you. It's been a while since I picked it up. I think I was gonna make this a book club pick. I can't remember. But that just shows the level of enjoyment I had when I was reading it. I clearly didn't care enough to even remember fully what the synopsis of this was. I remember feeling very confused, and I feel like, I don't know, I just kind of felt like the author was doing a bad job of trying to get the point across. And yeah, I just wasn't into it. I mean, I appreciated the asexual representation in here. I'm all here for that. But all the rest of it, I was like, blah, 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 proper name, place, setting, backstory stuff. Like, that was and not in a good way, I was just like, you know what? Me and you, we're done. Another one that might hurt some people's feelings, Ariadne by Jennifer Saint. I got this in the works for like £3. And I figured, why not? I've heard good things about Jennifer Saint. It's a story about the princess of Crete, Ariadne and Phaedra, and their castle, their home, is built on top of the labyrinth where the Minotaur is hanging out in. And yeah, it's just a retelling of her, basically. And whilst on the one hand, I'm here for, Greek myth retellings. I'm here for that. I'm reading one right now. But this one felt it felt like I was reading a history textbook as opposed to, I didn't really gel with Jennifer Saint's writing style. It felt very, I don't know. It was a bit confusing for me to follow. I got bored, and being honest, there was a lot of time jumps in here, and I got a bit lost in the sauce, zoning out, not enjoying, so I put it down. So, yeah, a young adult one, Rise to the Sun by Leah Johnson. I got 2 chapters into this before I just right out of there. Read one chapter from one character's POV, and then the second one was from our other main character. And I read chapter 2, and I sat there and I was like, you know what? I already don't like either one of you. Already, the 2 of you are getting on my nerves, and I don't want to spend an entire book with either one of you. So, with respect, I'm going to show myself out, which I did. So there's that. Oh, I never explained what this is about. It's about 2 girls who go to a music festival and they meet each other and fall in love, essentially. But yeah, a bunch of other stuff happens too, I guess, but I can't remember. Another young adult one that I really thought that I would like, it was Kate in Waiting by Becky Albertalli. Now, I haven't really loved a Becky Albertalli book since I read Simon, if I'm being real. I read Simon and I loved that. I read Leah on the Offbeat and thought it was terrible. I hated that book so much. I hated Leah so much. Why I didn't DNF that one, I've no idea. But and then I tried to read this one. It's about these two best friends, Kate and Anderson, and they're both in theatre together. They've both had crushes on the same people, but then this new kid comes to their school and they both develop a crush on him. But then it goes from more than just a crush. Like, they're just like, I'm actually starting to develop real feelings for this person. And yeah, we only got we only got Kate's perspective in this. And I had thought we would have, you know, done a little bit better getting from Anderson's perspective as well, because he's just as much a main character as she is. I felt like if we had gone between the two of them and got a bit more of what Anderson was feeling and thinking and going through as the book went on, because he was just kind of in the background, and I was just like, yeah, but yeah, it just didn't work out. We just didn't work out. So yeah. Now these two, Princess and the Fangirl and Among the Beasts and Briars by Ashley Poston. Now, I attempted to read these books. These were going to be a part of the series that I'm doing, where I read a favorite author's backlist. It's basically, I look at authors that I've loved over the years, and I pick out 3 books of theirs that I've never read before, and then I make a video about it and I talk about it. I'll leave that playlist link down below. I've done a couple authors at this point, but Ashley Poston was the most recent one that I did. And I go into a lot more detail in that video as to why I DNF both of these. This one, both the main characters got on my last nerve. I hated both of them, especially Imogen. She calls herself she's a fangirl, and this woman speaks in references. And it got to a point where I wanted to reach through the book and smack her across the face and be all like, can you just talk like a regular human, please? So yeah, but go watch the video if you want a bit more detail on it. And with this one I really felt like I would love. It has a lot of things that appeal to me. It's fairy tale, it's magic, it's curses and princesses and all the classic fairy tale things that I love. And I started reading it, and it just wasn't it. But again, go watch that video. I'll leave the playlist linked in the description if you want to go and watch some of the others. But go watch the Ashley Poston one. Get more information on those. Why did I put these on the floor? These next couple might offend some people, but deal with it. This one, Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldry. Now, I might have discussed this in a video before, but the way this may as well be called Legends and Latte, like, this was, the story where nothing at all happened. Listen, I get it. It's cozy fantasy. Okay, before anybody comes in the comments being all like, it's cozy fantasy, it's meant to be. I know. Okay? It says high fantasy, low stakes on it. I understood completely what I was going to get myself into. I realized not a whole lot was going to happen. So don't be at me being like, oh, you don't know that. I do. Okay? Okay? I'm not stupid. But, okay. So this is about our main character, Viv. Is that her name? Yes. She was an orc. She is an orc, sorry. And she spent her entire life on the battlefield. And then one day she decides, you know what? I don't want to be a axe-wielding barbarian anymore. I want to leave that life behind and go open a coffee shop. Does she know anything about coffee? No. Does she know anything about running a business? No. She just waltzes into this small town, sees this random derelict building and goes, there, I will build a coffee shop in here. Now listen, I'm all for women opening a small business. I'm all for that. But, like, you know nothing of, like, as a barista, her lack of knowledge about coffee and the way it's made and just anything about it hurt my feelings. Like, I'm sorry, maybe that's just me, but I'm just like, do we even, like, and she was all like, oh, a latte is this, and then you do this, and then you put milk on it, and it's this, and it's like, you know, I was like, you don't know anything. Like, her lack of coffee knowledge hurt my feelings. Listen, I'm a barista, okay? It hit me where I live. And as well, nothing happened. There was no character development. And see, the thing is, I understand with cozy fantasy, it's not about the plot. It's usually about the characters. But the characters were so bland. So bland. And literally, they just would sit around and they would be all like, Viv, why don't you do this? Or why don't you belt? And she'll be like, okay, I'll do that. And then the next day, she woke up and she did this. And I'm like, make it stop. So I did. Okay? I did. Don't talk. Now, this next one is really going to hurt people's feelings, but I've talked about this before. I DNF babble. I got one chapter into this and just noped right out of there because I could not have. I fully respect RF Kwong and what she was and what she did with this. I love the fact that so many people loved it. I love the fact that so many people resonated with it. But historical literary fiction is not for me. I just don't want to be a part of that. I just don't want to. I don't want to be here. Okay, I'm out. I'm bored. And I completely understand, you know, that the systematic racism within academic circles when it comes to students of color. Yes, that is a conversation that needs to be had, but I don't want to read 800 pages of it. Is this, what, how many pages is this? How many pages? Oh no, it's 500 pages. Never mind. I don't want to read 500 pages of it, okay? I'm sorry. I just couldn't be bothered. So, 2 more books. The first one I DNF fairly recently, Evocation by S.T. Gibson. I gave this a first shot. I did, but I couldn't have cared less about any of the characters. I thought I wasn't really into the plot. And it just, yeah, the characters got on my last nerve. It's basically about main character David, who works as a lawyer by day, and then his sort of like side hustle is he is an occultist essentially, and you know, goes to people's houses and tries to contact their dead relatives, dead loved ones. And then he ends up having something malevolent attached to him, and then he ends up having to get in touch with his ex-boyfriend. Not his ex-boyfriend David. He is David. His boyfriend is called Reese. Sorry. He gets in touch with his ex-boyfriend Reese, who is happily married to a lovely woman named Moira. And at first, Reese dodges his text messages. He's like, I don't want nothing to do with him. I hate him. Curse, like, whatever he's going through, I don't want a part of it, because they broke up because David done did something real bad. And we hate David. And yeah, and then he ends up sort of reluctantly helping David. But again, I couldn't have cared less. And I didn't really like the way the narrator was reading the book. I didn't really like the sound of his voice. No offense to you, sir, but I didn't like that. I didn't like his voice in my ear. I just didn't like. You know how certain audiobooks, some audiobook narrators are really good at what they do, and you're like, oh, you have a nice pleasing sound. But then some narrators, you're just like, ew, get out of my ear. Does anybody else feel that way? Or is it just me? I don't know. And the last book that I would like to talk about is City of Dusk by Tara Sim. I got 250 pages into this, but nothing happened. Nothing was going on. And I was really quite upset because this was a book I genuinely thought that I would love. It's set within this world where there's like 4 different realms, and the realms are dying because the gods have withdrawn their favor. And all our main characters come from prominent families who are all trying to like save their city and, make a claim for the throne because the king is looking for an heir. and you know, like dark magic and necromancy and stuff. Again, it sounded like a lot of what I would enjoy, but nothing. Boredom. 250 pages of nothing. One great big stinking hunk of nothing. Like, I was bored. And if a book bores me, you can probably sense a pattern here. Most of these books were just plain boring and my attention wasn't being held. And well, that's that. And I would like to iterate again, just because I didn't like these doesn't mean none of you should. If I mentioned your favorite book in this, well, I'm glad that at least one of us enjoyed it. I mean, I'm not going to apologize for not liking it because I shouldn't have to be, but yeah, if I mentioned your fave, God bless. Anyway, anyway, I'm gonna go. All my socials are down below as always. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. I have very important videos on my TikTok concerning Palestine and Congo, so please go and interact with them as much as you can. I'm also selling some K-pop albums and posters. So if you want to head on over there and look at the videos, and on my Instagram as well, I've mentioned on my Instagram I'm selling a few, so if you see any over there, DM me and let me know. The playlist for where I talk about the Ashley Poston books, I'll leave that playlist link down below too. So yeah, leave a like so the algorithm knows you like me. Subscribe if you haven't already. Ring the bell, do all the things. And I'm gonna clean my room because this place is a mess. I live in squalor. Anyway, bye. See yous in the next video.